Good evening, everyone. I would like to call today's Riviera Cultural Council meeting to order. And before we start, if you could all join me for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So before we go on with the agenda, if we could all just say who's present from the members. My name is Sumia Eidlhash.
I'm Chloe Gladue.
Brendan O'Brien.
Lonnie Stevens.
And now our members over Zoom will introduce themselves.
Lee, Samantha Harrington, Farah Sheikh.
Great. So just again, as a reminder that we would like to start with reading the cultural statement as a reminder for any new watchers. So I'll just go ahead and read it. So the Riviera Cultural Council is composed of diverse members appointed by the mayor and approved by the city council. The RSCC seeks to collaborate with local and neighboring organizations on programs which will elevate Riviera's diverse, extensive heritage and cultural background. We also seek to make the arts more accessible by providing Riviera's artists and cultural groups with opportunities, including grant funding. We aim to serve all segments of Riviera's population, including underrepresented communities, with a focus on lesser heard voices. And on to the topics for discussion. So on our agenda, last meeting, we said we were going to discuss the RCC structure for organizational purposes. So the proposal is to have a chair who will be leading the RCC and corresponding with the city, a vice chair with a focus on social media coordination, a treasurer, including focusing on submitting the financial report, a secretary that would also assist with application, being the point person for applications, and event communications and outreach coordinating, including corresponding with the greater Riviera area in the city. So I would like to open it up for anyone if anyone wants to add any comments, make any changes. And if none, I would like to nominate, I guess we would nominate, or you feel free to nominate yourself if there is a position that you're interested in. I know Lonnie from last time as a treasurer, so we're going to select a treasurer, and I nominate Lonnie. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Great. And for secretary?
I believe that Samantha is a secretary. I think
Okay.
that she was nominated as secretary, but if not, I will nominate her to be secretary.
Great. Is there a second? Great. And then for event communications and outreach coordinator?
I nominate Brendan.
I second that nomination.
Great. And for vice chair and social media coordination?
I nominate Chloe.
I'll second that.
Great. All right. So, approved. All right. So, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Again, we encourage everyone to submit the applications. They're still open, and please submit applications. We encourage everyone to submit if they have any ideas. Again, this is an opportunity before it closes next on October 17. All right, and in more on the selection process, once the application closes, then we will receive a booklet, and we will discuss and select the candidates. And moving on to the financial report, we have it due on October 17. I will pass it on to Lonnie to discuss a few in terms of just the general report of what we have.
So with the financial report, it's broken up into two components. There's the LCC account form, which refers a lot to the previous fiscal year. And then the next tab that we take a look at is actually calculating the amount available for grant money for this year. And so the way that works is I just essentially have to enter in the expenditures. I have to enter in some of those encumbered funds. Any projects that were left unfinished, we still have that. We still have some money remaining there. And then we also can allot a certain amount to administrative funds. We can allot up to 5% for administrative funds for this upcoming year.
Okay, great, thanks, Lonnie. And we do have, as I mentioned, we talked about last meeting, I would like us to vote on the decision in terms of allotment to sponsored programs, specifically that RCC takes a lead on, as well as an allotment for administrative costs, including, again, to fit with our mission statement, to have a certain amount allotted to translation services to reach the lesser heard voices. So currently we have $2,140 for administrative costs, and that also includes printing the new RCC banner, as well as $8,560 for council-sponsored programs or events. So I'm going to open it up for any comments before we vote on. And just to add also that, as Lonnie mentioned, any amount that we don't use will be carried on to next session. All right, so all in favor of having the council setting aside $2,140 for administrative costs and also setting aside $8,560 for council-sponsored programs or events. Do I have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I move to approve that.
Great. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. And just as a general, in terms of, again, a few things regarding the agenda for next meeting, we would like to share the RCC banner that we've all been working on, as well as events that obviously we're going to be focusing on selecting applications and candidates for the next months, but once that is over, we would like to focus on an event that would, so if you have any ideas on events that you think the RCC would help in terms of reaching out the community, including lesser heard voices or celebrating the heritage of Revere, please reach out to us. We already have a few ideas, but we'll be discussing that in the next meetings. And if there's no additional comment, I will call the meeting to end and adjourn the meeting if there's no additional comments.
I actually do have a comment. Just for transparency reasons, In that financial report, we do have to report those administrative costs. However, we don't have to report if the council does fund a project in that. So that being said, I think that if we do receive a lot of applications from outside people, that we would like to prioritize that over a council-funded event or sponsored event.
Great, thanks for clarifying that, Lonnie. And also, there is something that came up for us is, and thanks Chloe for doing a great job with the social media, but something that really came up is just with the requests that we received for example, translating, I think that's still important to allocate at the request of communities if there's, which we already have. I think we should still maintain that certain allotment to make it easier. And perhaps we could have an RCC translation coordinator and working with the city as well to provide that service so that we can reach all of Rivier's communities.
Should we maybe just remind people before we wrap it up of where to go if they're still interested in applying at this stage?
So we have the Mass Cultural Council website, and I can pass it on to Chloe if you want to elaborate. I know that there's a lot of circulations on the RCC Facebook account and Instagram that has also the links, but as well as the criteria. But I'll pass it on to Chloe.
Yes, I can pull that up right now. So we have been advertising different avenues to be able to apply for this grant. So you can apply on massculturalcouncil.org/localcouncil/Revere. You are also able to call us at 781-286-8150 for any assistance. And we also have the Revere MA Cultural Council for our Instagram and the Revere Cultural Council on Facebook as well. So you are able to contact us in any way with any help you would need with any translating with the application or just any assistance with the application at all.
Great. Thanks, Chloe. And before we wrap it up, any our members on the virtual world, do you have any comments? If none, no worries. All right, I will call this meeting. I will adjourn the meeting.